Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 2019. It's been it's been an interesting year, a very interesting year, and we'll go over some of the things that happened. We're going to look at what's ahead. This is a big show for Casey Samson Team. It's our first of the year. We're going to go over some very important things that saved people a lot of money this year that we kind of got into. I'm going to talk about the Dulles Home Expo show, which is the home and remodeling show, which they have a couple thousand people go to. We will be speaking at that show. We'll have a booth, and we'll be speaking at that show at 2 o'clock on Friday and 2 o'clock on Sunday. And the gist of that is taking your home from a traditional look to a transitional look, which is what the buyers are all looking for. So it's very important that things are moving fast. Technology is moving fast. We got cars driving on their own now. We've got, tech is moving a lot quicker. And we need to make these same advances with our houses, how we go from the way we used to look and live to the way the new buyers are expecting us to look when they come looking for their house. And why, let me just say why is this important, and then we'll get on to what happened in 2019. Because I'm a stickler on pricing. Our success is the reason why we do 80, 90, or $100 million a year is because, as most of you know, I'm a real stickler on pricing. I make sure we lock in on what the correct price is, and then go from there. We usually can sell our inventory. So a house that's, say, 30 years old, because some people don't work on their homes and some people update their homes, so the spread on a 30-year home, the spread on the price can be 20%. So a home that it would customarily sell for $750,000 could really sell anywhere from $675,000 to $825,000, which is a massive, massive spread. What is that, $150,000? So where we end up in this spectrum is basically dictated by how we can fix the house up. And we're going to talk about something called smart money. It's a definition we're going to use at the seminar, and we'll talk about that as well. But that's why the condition and the transition is extremely important. There are now when I say there's tens of thousands of dollars at risk, let me give you just one example. So one seller transitions their home, the newer carpets, the look, the feel, and the whole 9 yards. We go on for $875,000. Which is their customary price. So they update, it looks great. We get a lot of people in, but it's not a pipe stem, so not many people are going to, it's not exactly preferred by most buyers, but we get a lot of people driven to this house. Pictures were awesome. So a person puts in a contract for $875,000, and it's the first weekend, and I tell her, I need your highest and best offer by Monday at noon. And she said, oh my gosh, are there other offers? And I said, well, all I know is we're packed. It's been shown a lot. I need your highest best offer Monday at noon. So she bumped her offer from $875,000 to $917,000. It's $42,000 in extra money that she bumped it. And she was the only contract bidding on that house. She was the only one. So the seller basically made an extra $42,000 because we drove so much traffic, which kind of intimidated the buyer. Now, the next door neighbor came to me and said, I want you to sell my house. It's the same size, same thing, da, 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 da. And I said, okay, well, we got to go from traditional to transitional. We need to do what we got to do. No, my house is fine. It looks great. We'll sell it as it is. So, and I want you to put on for $925,000. Now, the new Casey Samson, the 2019 Casey Samson, will not take that listing. I know it was a setup. Sometimes I just get stupid. Or I thought, I was such a great experience on the other house. So here we go. $925,000. 6 months later. $850,000 with a $12,500 home inspection. So they got a net of about $838,000. When the other person got $917,000. So when I say that going from transition from traditional look to the transitional look is worth tens of thousands of dollars. In that case, it was worth $80,000. So I guess, we try and share all these experiences so people know that if you're going to put your house on the market, some sellers will say, they don't like it this way, then don't take it. That's not what you're trying to do. We're trying to build the buyer pool, get as many people interested in this home as possible, and that gives us our biggest audience, and in turn, the most contracts, the quickest sale, the highest price, and the lowest home inspection. So we really need to focus on that, and here's why. In 2019, let me just grab my little coffee from McDonald's. Yeah, I didn't have time to put it in the mug and fool all you guys. I just went right to the McDonald's. And I'll tell you why. I like the coffee at 7-Eleven, but I had to go to McDonald's and get a little burger. So I needed a breakfast sandwich. So anyways, terrible coffee at McDonald's. I'm working through it. So anyways, 2019, why was this important? Well, believe it or not, but by February of 2018, we knew we had a problem. Because normally when we launch houses like this weekend, we launched 4 houses. We had 55, 60 people go through and see those houses. We had two sold. Another one's got a contract coming in. Another one's got a contract. So this is activity. This is multiple contracts. This is activity. Well, the first wave of houses that went out last year, there was not a lot of inventory, but we didn't get a lot of buyers. There was not a ton of traffic, and kind of the radar went up, the antennas went up and said, there's something going on here. I'm not quite sure what it is, but the traffic is not as we hoped it would be. So we started focusing hard on pricing, but we also started focusing on condition, because there are 3 pillars of a successful sale. And the 3 pillars are pricing, condition, marketing. So this is a book. And this is a book we'll have at the expo. And it's beautiful, to be honest with you. The pictures of the houses are stunning. The interiors are stunning of what we've done, and this is just this year. And because you have to think of it this way. The buyer of your house is coming from 30 minutes to 45 minutes to your east, because the migration is east to west. So people usually live 30 to 45 minutes away from their work. Big employment centers, Arlington, which is going to get bigger, Crystal City, and Washington D.C. and So we knew the pricing was right, but still wasn't enough. So we really started focusing on the condition and the pictures that you have to send out. The pictures that you're going to make is your marketing piece. We're going to use geofencing. We're going to target our buyers. We're going to take it out to them. But if those pictures show a dated house, which somebody like Kelly or Leslie or whoever's looking for a property looks at it and says the word dated, then they'll pass through that house and they'll look to another house. Because if it's not appealing to them, something's got to attract them into the house. So the marketing was great. The pricing is great. Now we need to focus on the middle tier, that pillar, which is condition. And so we started doing that in like March. Really got into, the kitchens, the bathrooms, the overall condition, and we found that this traditional look that everybody is in, we all have plants and oriental rugs and drapes and shears and two-tone paint and yellow paint and powder blue paint and stuff in the foyer, and our lights are gold, lights hanging down that have been here since 1995, and the chandelier is gold, and so all of these things. In fact, today I'll stand in somebody's house, and I'll do this at the seminar, and I'll stand in the foyer and I'll show 30 things in my view of sight that date the house. Now, is it hard to pull a plant down or get rid of a chest or get rid of a china cabinet or pull the curtains down or get a Wayfair rug and as opposed to the big Oriental rug? No, it's easy. But you got to do it, because when that goes out to these people, they're starting to see gold, and they're seeing Oriental rugs. They're seeing pictures in the hallway, and so we really needed to focus on what are those pictures going to show. Are they going to show a traditional home, or are they going to show a transitional home? So it was a huge success this year, even though our volume was down. We sold everything we had. We sold all our inventory. We sold everything. So how did we do it? Well, we really focused, and I look around at the other agents, big agents that we're dealing with, and would talk to them. And for the first time in a couple of years, I saw some fear in some of their face. One of them had $55 million worth of unsold inventory. It was sitting there. And they were a little dumbfounded, and they didn't, they were, had a little panic in their eyes. Now, normally they do have heavy inventories, but 55 million of unsold houses, when ours was virtually gone, because if we'd get it, we'd sell it. In fact, 3 of the top 10 houses in Vienna were our sales. And that's in the 1.7s, 1.8s, the big sales. 3.9, I think, was the biggest sale of Vienna, and we had that one. So we sold 3 of the top 10, and no one else sold 2. We sold 3. So it shows that no matter what size it is, as long as you price it right, condition, and market, then it's going to work. And we sold more homes, 6 in Oakton, over $1 million. Now, our volume was still down from last year, but to me, the success is if you got the $1.75 million house, you sold this $1.75 million house in the first weekend, and that was great. In fact, I think the top 20 houses sold for an average of 1.35, and they sold in less than 30 days. So, for us, success. Even though volume was down, those houses sold. And I really credit it with the condition. So 2019 in a historical perspective, or 18 in a historical perspective, let's go back. Let's go back to 2008. We're just getting through a financial crisis. Housing prices are falling. The contraction of who can borrow money and buy a house has gone from here to here. So remember how I keep talking about buyer pool, and some of you that listen to me a lot will know that I talk about expanding the buyer pool for each house. The buyer pool in 2006 was this big. By 2008, the buyer pool was this big. There were no more no money downs. There were no more so-so credits. There were only 20% downs. There were only great credits, so the buyer pool shrank. The prices fell, and that's where we were. So that was a crisis. And over the years, we work our way up. We have good years and bad years. And 2015 was a significant year because I think as the prices kind of went up, everybody thought they were going to get their house, sell their house, sell their house, sell their house. So in 2015, I also smelled a rat in that, something's going on. And what was going on then was you were going to sell a $1.5 million house. There were 35 $1.5 million houses, or around that price range, in Vienna. 35. And 2 were under contract. So, you really had to be sharp. In fact, I'll never forget, I walked into Great Falls, and it was a $1.8 million house, and he says, sold anything in Great Falls? It's like, not really. But there's 45 houses on the market right now, none of them are under contract. So, whoever's, nobody's really having any success. So, and all my, a lot of my houses were under contract. So anyways, we put it on the market. We were under contract, and before you know it, there was 1 house under contract and 45 not under contract. So, and that's because we forced to make sure the price was competitive where we needed to be in the conditions. So anyways, that was 2015, and we got through that, but there was massive inventory. 2016, 17, pretty good, pretty normal years. 2018, inventory was low. So why weren't we getting a lot of contracts? I mean, why wasn't there a fight at the bat rack? Why didn't we have 5 contracts instead of 1 contract? So buyer inventory, down. Buyer demand, down. So they were both down in here. So Vienna new homes were off by 40%. Vienna as a whole was off by about 20%. Oakton was down. In fact, I think every major market was down in the volume of sales that were going on. So it was a low demand and a low inventory. So that's the way that year was. And if you wanted to sell a house in 2018, you had to be pretty smart. You had to, like we say, you had to pay attention to every detail. The price needed to be just right. I took a house that was on the market for 2 years at, $1.8 million, and Billy and I had it on the market and had 2 contracts, had it sold within 30 days and had actually 2 contracts on it. So, if you pay attention to every detail, then things are going to sell. So what happened last year that we did is the success that we had is what we're going to work on this year, and that is focus on the third pillar, which is the condition. We already know Julie and Michelle do great jobs of, the brochures and the pictures and the books and the online stuff and drag. And let me tell you, let me give you an example. This week, we launched 4 listings. We had, I don't want to get this wrong, we had almost 60 people come out to see these listings, and that was before the snowstorm. So you had 60 people come out and look at these listings, and a couple got under contract or are ratified contracts, and the others have contracts. So is the buyer demand pretty strong? Yeah. I mean, one house had 25 people come out and look at it. So is that encouraging for 2019? Yes, it is encouraging, because I think that last year was a year that we had to buy. It wasn't a year that you wanted to buy. It wasn't like, I think we'll move up. It was, I got a job, I got to move. I'm too big for our house. We got to move out of this house. We need a bigger house. So I think it was I need to buy year, not I want to buy year. Now, what else happened in 2018? Well, Amazon looked around for a year and a half and said, you know what? The best place to have a company is Northern Virginia. I know it's going to take time. 25,000 people aren't coming in here. But you have a future growth path. Now, just put in perspective, they're going to bring in 25,000 people over the next 7, 8, 9 years. Our biggest employer right now is Innova, and they have 16,000 people. So, is it a big deal? Yeah. Not just because of who they are or what they're bringing in this year, but what they said and it's just like if you were going to build a fast food restaurant, you'd follow McDonald's. If McDonald's says this is the place to be, I'd get one right next door to it, okay? Because they've done the research of where is the best place to get out in front of the population curve. So, when Amazon does this work, they're telling every executive in America that doesn't have the resources that Amazon has that the best place to find employees, everything, cost of living, quality of life, blah, 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 airports, the best place to be is Northern Virginia. Now, that's Tyson's Corner is adding 100,000 jobs in the next 10 years. Think about that. That's pretty big, too. And Innova itself has bought and again, remember, I'm a Northern Virginia realtor. When ExxonMobil decided they were going to leave their campus, they took 2,500 executives out of that building. Now, they either retired, maybe moved off, or they moved to Houston with them, but that was a big hole right in the middle of Fairfax County, one of our major employers. Well, Innova bought the land. Innova's improving the land. Innova has a very aggressive schedule for what they're going to do. They're going to go after trying to be the Mayo Clinic, cancer research. They're bringing in doctors. In fact, I know 2 or 3 doctors in Vienna that have already bought houses. So Exxon's void is now Innova's plus. So Innova's starting to bring those doctors in. So we are going to start to see major employment centers that for the long term will help the health of Northern Virginia. Now, some people say, well, then the cost of living is going to go up because the house prices are going to go up and all this. And that may or may not be true, but, I don't really buy a lot of that stuff. It may be a reason why people are out wanting to get a house before the prices go up. That may be the immediacy that the market needs. But in reality, is it really going to push prices up, 25, 35, 40% or 50%? I don't see that. I'm an old guy. I'm sitting right now in Chantilly. And back when I was a young guy, they said there's more office space that's going to be built in the Dulles corridor here than downtown Philadelphia and Baltimore combined. And everybody was running out buying these townhouses and investment properties. Well, don't you know that within 5 years, new homes, you could buy a new home for less than you could buy the older homes. And they were bigger and they were newer. And the whole homes that everybody was buying for investment were more expensive than the new houses. So I take all that with a grain of salt. Houses are supposed to be lived in. They're for your family. They're, for long term. So I don't look at, I really turn off a lot of the, this is a great investment. Let's go crazy. I just don't buy into all that stuff. I kind of, tell my sellers, sell on the news and buy on the reality, which is sell on the hype and buy on the reality that really never came. So anyways, I think, though, the long-term stability of our employment centers are solid. Not right now. Because right now we have 800,000 federal employees out of work, and we're a company town for the most part. And, certainly our hearts go out to the people that didn't get a paycheck. And that's tough. It's hard to miss out on a paycheck. And everybody's like, well, you should have. No. Stop that. It's a paycheck. And you depend on that to pay your bills. And that's the way it is. So there are people that are facing some pretty serious hardships. So hopefully we get this whole thing resolved and move on with it. Forget the politics of it. Just hopefully they can get this resolved and get on with it and get back to work. So what's ahead for 2019? The middle pillar. That's what we're going to work on. Pricing. My pricing model is so solid. It's going to tell you, as is, this is what it's going to sell for. Customary condition is what it's going to sell for. Needs work, this is what it's going to sell for. Updated, it'll sell for this, and renovated. And time after time after time, the model gets proven right. So it's so solid now that I can really get a fix on pricing so that we can work on condition. All right. So at the expo this Sunday, from Friday to Sunday, we'll be there. 10 o'clock till 9 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock, I think, on Sunday. My seminars, which I don't speak in public that much anymore, but I'll be giving a seminar at the Home Expo Friday at 2 o'clock, Saturday at 2 o'clock. I will say that whether you are thinking of putting your house on the market and selling it, just looking to update your house, so you're going to stay in place, whether you're looking to renovate a kitchen, renovate a bathroom, or you're thinking, it's all math. You're trying to make a decision. Do I build onto my house? Okay? Do I build onto my house, or do I buy a new house that's bigger? And I know a lot of people wrestle with that. I love the house I'm in. Do I build on it? But now we start running into a thing called smart money. Okay, so let's talk smart money for a second. So I don't know if you're a gambler or not, but let's say you are gambling. Let's say when you go to Las Vegas, there's a couple games you can do. You can, roll bones and play craps, or you can, blackjack. You can do blackjack. You can do baccarat or whatever. Here's a game for you that would be perfect in Las Vegas, and it's called Smart Money. Now, see if you would play this game. You could bet $2,500, and if you lose, you get $5,000. And if you win, you get $15,000, or in that one lady's case, $42,000. So the question is, would you spend the $2,500? Would you bet $25,000 if you lost, you got $5,000 back. And if you won, you get $15,000 or $25,000 back. Okay? I play that game. I make that bet. I make that bet all day long. Okay? So the difference between me and I'm going to go into I'm going to have everyone close their eyes. I'll do a mini part of it right now. Now, when I use the term smart money, think that whatever I put into that, I'm getting back to 5 times. Okay? Now, paint is the best smart money you can spend. That's a guaranteed 4 times your money. So let's just do it. Let's walk into your house right now. Close your eyes. Walk into your house. Close them. Walk in your house. I'm standing in your foyer. Now, as I walked up, I saw that your driveway or your walkway needed to get power washed. You got some dry rot in the corner of one of the doors. You need to get all the cobwebs. You need to clean this up and make this look fresh. Door might need some paint. So let's just say I walk in your door. I'm standing in your foyer, and what do I see? I look down the hallway, and I see an oriental rug as a runner. 2 lights in the hallway that are gold. I've got something in the foyer here. It's a what do you call it? It's a dresser or something like that. Some piece of furniture in the foyer, and it's got a plant on it. It's got a bowl on it. It's got some knickknacks on it. It's got stuff on it. The light overhead, which I have a hard time seeing sometimes, is gold and it's dated. It's 1995. So I haven't left the foyer yet. And I'm looking at walls that are marked up and maybe light yellow, light blue, light green, something that was probably good in the 90s or 2000s, but is not really what I'm looking for. So we don't want this picture, and there's pictures on the walls, and they're kind of coming out. So they're closing the hallway down. So oriental rug, those lights, those pictures, that color, this piece of wood, that plant, that thing, all got to go. So now, let's envision if I walked in, and let's look at what that picture would look like from a transitional look. I'm standing on a carpet from Wayfair. That's real smart money. That's $100. Only it's new and it's hip. I've got a new lighting fixture that cost me probably $200. That's smart money all over the place. The 2 lights in the hallway have been replaced by recessed lights. Pictures are gone. I'm looking at Revere pewter as the paint, which is really hip. The piece of wood is gone, including the plants and everything else. There's no plants, no flowers. It's a clean look. It's got recessed lights, no runner. The recessed lights are hitting the wooden floors. I'm standing on a nice modern rug, and I've got a modern fixture over my head. How does that look? Now, imagine that look as opposed to the first look, the traditional look. And I don't want to get too much into it, but if I look to the left in the living room, there's big heavy curtains, drapes that are going like this. There's shears, there's screens on the windows. How am I doing? There's another oriental rug on the floor. There's 7 pieces of furniture that's packed with furniture in there. It's an old and dated picture up on the wall. There's 2-tone paint. Darker shade, lighter shade. That's definitely a tip-off. I have 2 antique lamps over here. So that is, again, a picture of a very dated, and again, I'm not criticizing. It's just that's the way we live. That's what we're used to. That's our nest. That's what we've been nesting with. So now, if the drapes are all gone, the shears are gone, the screens are gone, if it's an unsightly look outside, I mean, we're looking for more of a linear look. We want clean lines. If the house is outside that window, if I don't have a good view, then I'll put some, again, Wayfair, which is what we love to do because it's not expensive and it's very modern. You have linear drapes that come down, very light, not heavy, very light, very cool drapes that come down. So now, as I look in, I see what I call a conversation pod, which is the couch, 2 chairs, and a table in the middle, and they're facing each other where you can actually see somebody sitting down talking to each other. They're on a modern rug. The curtains are all gone. The modern little linear curtains are up there. A piece of artwork to throw on your wall is $200. I mean, we're talking $200. So now there used to be a tall, 5 or 6 foot high, not a china cabinet, but it's all glass. You had knickknacks in it. Every time you went to Disney World, you got a little knickknack, or you got all sorts of little things, and you're collecting them. That's gone. So you have a real clean room. You have a conversation pot on a very modern rug. The windows look pow. The paint is mindful gray, and the 2 tones. The modern stuff is the top equals the bottom, so you don't have 2 tones because that's a total giveaway. So they match. They work with the grays or the Revere pewter, and now we have a modern room. And now, when you look at these books, and by the way, the big plant in the corner, yeah, that's gone. Grandma's antique lamps, they're gone. What we've done is we've replaced the older lamps, which give off no light whatsoever, with natural light coming in from the front of the house. So now we have a bright, modern house. And I can tell you that we rarely spend $3,000. Rarely would we spend $3,000. So that's like going to Vegas and go, all right, I'll give you $3,000, smart money. I give you $3,000. Worst case, I get back $6,000. But what I'm really shooting for is the $15,000 to $25,000 bump in price. Now, remember, if I can get 2 people to bid against each other, the price goes up, right? The home inspection could be gone. I mean, they could really eliminate the home inspection if they're trying to compete for this house. So how many people would drive 30 minutes to see a dated foyer area like I first described, a dated living room? That's how many people would come. Now, how many would come for a modern-looking house? Would it cost us $3,000? Again, we're not dealing with $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 volume on our pricing. We're dealing with a 20% variable on high price to low price, or high price to low price. So that one couple, the $875,000, when they spent, I think we spent $7,500 and got back $42,000, and it sold in the first day. Now, I am adamant that we all only have a limited supply of 3 things. And the older you get, the less your supply gets. But we only have so much time, we only have so much energy, and we only have so much money. And the older you get, your ability to keep creating new money is gone, so you really have to be real frugal. And we only have so much energy, trust me. Sometimes I have to take a nap in the afternoon. And I don't want people sapping our energy, and then, your time. So time, energy, and money are the 3 things we have a limit. So we need to be really, really thoughtful about how we spend all 3. Now, the first one that sold in the first weekend, there was no time or energy. All theirs was spent was calling a painter, calling an electrician, calling in some rugs, and that was basically it. The other alternative was 6 months of hell not selling a house, dying over the fact that you went from $925 to $850. And so the time and the energy are just, and then the money, losing $80,000. Who can lose $80,000? So I'd rather spend our time, energy, and money doing a constructive thing, going from traditional to transitional, because it pays. It gets quicker house, quicker contracts, more money, less time, less energy. So that's kind of the way that we want to do. So that is the smart money. The only money you should spend is smart money. Now, some of you are coming to the expo because your thought is, do I expand my house because it's really too small right now, or do I buy something new? Well, smart money can turn into dumb money if you're not careful. Let me give you an example of that one. So Before I met a seller, they put $300,000 into their home, and they expanded it, and they knocked out walls, and put in brand new kitchens, brand new bathrooms. Gorgeous house. Did everything perfectly as far as the constructions and the materials, and I do want to talk about the materials. Don't let me get away with that, because that is why you want to go to that expo. That the materials right now are off the chart, better than they were 5 years ago. So let's get back to this person. So to do an expansion of the house and all this, is that smart money or not smart money? Well, the neighborhood, remember that range I said? The best house could sell for this and the worst house could sell for that. Well, this is what the best house could sell for, and this is how much money they had in it. They had $1 million. They had over $1 million in it, and $1.05 million. So there's $1.05 million in it, and the maximum that neighborhood was going to produce was $915,000. That's just absolute, and that was $15,000 more than an appraiser gave us. So the higher you get, the harder it is to appraise, and the less a neighborhood can support. You don't build $1.1 million or $1.05 million house in a neighborhood that only supports, in a school district that only supports $600,000, $700,000 houses. So overbuilding is not smart money. You cannot overbuild. So what you need to do is, before you do anything, you need to call a realtor you trust and somebody that focuses on this, not just a guy that comes in and goes, or a woman that comes in and goes, oh, this is great, I'll bring in a stager. No, don't throw money away on a stager. Do not do that. Bless their hearts. Some of them are very, very good, but don't do that. That's what realtors do. We can walk in and go, this is traditional, that's got to go. This is the color paint we want. Revere pewter here, Dorian gray there, mindful gray there. They all mix, and you've got beige in the kitchen, so the grayish, which is Revere pewter, will tie in with that. We know what fixtures don't work. And we're not about putting things into your house. We're about taking things out of your house. Instead of 7 pieces of furniture, we only want 4 pieces of furniture. Instead of big dark things in there, we don't want that. So we're talking about thinning a house out. You don't need a stager to do that. And I know that Julie uses the word staged. You know, this is staging and staging. But that might connotate that I use a stager, which we don't, okay? You can take a house from a traditional to a transitional like that. And your realtor's the one that should be doing that. And that's not going to cost you money. And the only money you spend will be smart money on the carpets, the electrical fixtures, and just cleaning things out, getting things done. So you need, whether you're going to do some smart money or whether you're going to do thinking about a big renovation, thinking about renovating the kitchen, thinking about renovating the bathroom, you know, and I didn't even start in the kitchen. In the kitchen, it's either a, you know, if you have older cabinets in 30 years, and on my site, by the way, on the new CaseySamson.com, there's an updated schedule. So at 10 years, these are the updates you should have in your house in order to be considered customary. And then at 20 years, you need these updates to consider yourself customary. Can you still hear me? Oh, okay. I was getting that. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. So at 20 years, this is what we'd expect your house to have done. And by 30 years, yeah, see, it goes like this. As time goes on, some people update their house and some people do not. So the updated people are going to sell a lot more than the needs work. So when we come in, you know, do we want to replace the cabinets? Do we want to do just a new makeover of the cabinets? Do we want to paint the cabinets? I could tell you we worked with one group, big house, but it was old. They'd never done one update throughout the whole thing. It was going to be a very, very difficult sale. Got everything out, painted it gray, painted the cabinets white, put the hardware, the new brushed nickel hardware, and we threw down some of the nice rugs and got the $1.15 million in the first weekend. And you know, sometimes when we do something, I literally want to walk in the street like Rocky and throw my arms up in the air and go, I deserve an award for selling that house for that price. But, you know, you drive as many people you can, pray to God you can get it in some houses, and we got it. So on that, we had a very limited budget. We couldn't the bathroom was very, very, very dated, but we got through it. So before you do anything, call us. Now, if I have somebody that's selling a house in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you get first priority. Selling in the next 6 months, next priority. Not selling at all, next priority. When I have time, I'll definitely come out to your house and tell you whether that's good or bad. You know, whether you're selling or not, I'll do that. But our priorities will be, you know, whoever's selling now, obviously that's the way we pay the bills around here. They get first priority. When do we normally get called in? Sometimes 1 to 2 years ahead of the sale. Other times 1 week. So, you know, if you can call us a couple months before, you know, you're going to go on, so you get the advice. We'll give you our contractors and what color paint and all the rest of that stuff. So anyways, and for God's sakes, when you're doing a contracting bid, kitchens, bathrooms, windows, get 3 bids. If you're going to hire a realtor, talk to 3 realtors. Talk to 3 of them, big, small, and medium. See what you feel comfortable with, okay? I always encourage people, go ahead. You know, it's funny. I don't know if you watch Seinfeld or not, but on Seinfeld, there's one episode where Kramer talks George into asking, do you know what his fiance's, George's fiance, Susan? Was it? Yeah. Susan, right? So Kramer talks George into getting a prenup to get rid of the marriage and break up the marriage. And she laughs in his face. She goes, I'm the one that's got the money. You know, you don't have any money. You know, sure, get a prenup. I don't care. I don't say it that way, but that's what I'm thinking in my head when somebody says, well, I want to talk to other realtors. Like, sure, go ahead, call them in. I mean, because if your program is really solid and works really well, you certainly don't mind any competitors when they come in. And, you know, Kelly was getting a window estimate. I think Pat did the same thing, but it was like $29,000 to replace the windows in this house. And the winning bid was like $10,000. So you look at the $10,000 windows, you look at the $29,000 windows, there's no difference. It's just throwing 20 grand down the tubes. So please make sure, and if you have a realtor that's your friend, ask them for referrals on all of these things because, you know, we have preferred people that do the job and do it and are honest and don't overcharge and get it done. So a realtor is a resource for telling you what to do with your house that's going to make it most saleable. If you're in this Northern Virginia area, we can help you. If not, obviously, and you got a great realtor somewhere else or around here, you know, ask them. But if not, we can certainly help you. But, you know, those painters or those electricians or those HVAC guys or those plumbers, they depend on us for their business. So they wouldn't dare overcharge one of our clients. So they're good. Also, really a good place to find contractors or things is Home Advisor. Kelly is a big proponent of Home Advisor for getting local contractors out there. Yelp, she also swears by. She gets some good stuff from Yelp. So, you know, we want to make sure that we can serve our time, our energy, and our money. And what we really want to do is we want to make as much money as possible. So when you come to the expo, you will be fascinated with some of the new materials that they're using. It's different. It looks great. The porcelain in the bathrooms and the, you know, there are the Carrara marble stuff that's happening, but that's a little expensive. But I'm telling you, the wood that they're using on the floors now, you could use like these vinyl planks, cool looking hardwoods. They really look fantastic. And I think they've gone a long way. It's not the real thin Pergo nasty stuff where the edges all whip up and should really be banned. But it's really nice. It's padded. It's waterproof. It's really, the materials are fantastic. So, when somebody comes to me and says, well, should I, and I'm sure that at the Home Expo, people are going to say, well, should I update my kitchen? I don't know. Because is your kitchen currently a customary kitchen? Because if it's customary, the answer is no. If it's inferior, if it's falling apart, if it really needs it, yeah, now's the time to do it. Now, do I do cabinet refacing? Do I do painting? Or do I just rip the whole kitchen out and put in another kitchen? There are a lot of variables when I make that decision. So again, those are people I've got to go out, I've got to see the house. My own brother is thinking about having cabinets redone in his house. And I walked in and, I'm looking at really customary to / nice cabinets. And they have updated hardware and they're cherry and they look good, they feel good. And they're as good as any customary house you're going to walk into. So is it worth that money to come in and really put a lot of money into these cabinets? The answer is no. They're in great condition right now. There are other houses where they are very bad condition and you've got to rip them out. I mean, you either rip them out and redo the whole kitchen, the whole bathroom, or you at least reface them, and we come up with some kind of thing, because remember, we want to spend smart money, not dumb money, or let's not call it dumb money. Let's call it not smart money, okay? So, either way, I would come to this Home Expo show if you can make it. I understand it's going to be rainy or snowy or whatever. Who cares? Get a four-wheel drive truck. But it would be worth it to get as much knowledge as you can about your house. It is your biggest investment. And even if you're not thinking about selling the house, moving your home, and I described the family room, just the living room and the foyer. I'm walking into that person's house. I'm going to talk, we'll walk through the house and I'll just identify, this has got to go, this has got to go, this has got to go. Because when you have a picture, you want, and again, I'm really pleased with Julie for getting this book. You want to see things like that. And I'll throw these pictures up on our website, but this is what a buyer wants to see. All it is clean lines, no big drapes, nice carpeting, Revere pewter with white trim, in a nice cozy setting. That's it. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on. I sell a lot of new homes, and I don't stage them. Buyers want space, feature, function, location. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking to buy furniture. They're looking for how cutesy it'll be. If you have a problem with that house, all the furniture in the world is not going to solve that problem. You have a problem. So, buyers are out there looking. They're looking for a certain age, certain type, certain condition, certain bedroom, certain school district, certain location. So let's just show them something that's clean, linear, up to date, not dated. Let's not chase them down. Let's get as big a buyer pool as we possibly can for 2019, and let's move on from there. And for gosh sakes, my time is literally, when we get going here in about a month, my time, it's going to get taken up a little bit. But right now, it's, you're working at 20 to 30% of your capacity. So going out and looking at people's houses and telling them what they need to do is no problem for me. So, there is, although we do have houses coming on the market, once we've launched them, I've got a top producing agent that locks them down and really pays attention to every detail from that transaction. So do they need me that much? Not really, Where my best asset is getting the price correct, get the condition right, and then work with Julie and Michelle to get the marketing off. And then once we do that, it's like I say in football. If you have a great offense, and you have a great defense, and you have great special teams, winning just happens. So when we launch this, if the three pillars of price, condition, and marketing are correct, winning is just going to happen. It just does. It just does. So Don't think twice about calling me up, have me come out, have me look at your house, give you my opinions, whether you're selling now or not. If I do get busy, I'll just push you behind the people that are getting ready to go on the market, and we'll go from there. But I will be at the Home Depot or Home Expo most of the time. I would check probably between 1 o'clock and 6 or 9 o'clock. I don't know what my schedule is out there. And I do have free tickets. I'm kicking myself for not bringing free tickets. The Dulles Expo is only, less than a mile away from our office here in Chantilly on Lee Road. We're at 14526 Lee Road in Chantilly. So that's less than a mile away. I will leave free tickets. If you are a homeowner or somebody that we're getting ready to launch your house and we've already met, then contact Michelle at caseysamson.com, and I will have tickets for you at the front desk where you can walk into our office, grab $20 worth of tickets. I mean, it's lunch, free lunch. So grab the tickets, and the event will be on me. But certainly, if you have any questions, I would highly recommend. It's a great weekend to go out and take a look at what's new. And because so many cool things are new, that's why I think that the condition of these homes is starting to improve, because people really are fixing their house up and they look awesome. So be mindful of your competitors out there. I'm sorry?
Do you want to know your schedule?
Yes.
Friday 1 to 4, Saturday 1 to 4, and Sunday 10 to 4.
All right. So I'll probably be there from 1 to about 6. Okay. Friday and Saturday I'll be there from 1 to 6. Bank on that. And then Sunday, when am I going to be there?
Sunday you're going to be there from 10 to 4.
All right, give me 12 to 4. I'll probably be sleeping. It's going to be long. It's going to be a long few days, and I can wear myself out talking. So, anyways, but if I'm on, I'm on. I'll be there at 10 o'clock. But don't talk to me until 12. So I'm going to be probably Mr. Grumpy Pants for the first 2 hours when I'm there. So, but anyways, we live this stuff. And 2019 is going to be great. We do have, I think that, regardless of current issues that we've got going on, hopefully this gets resolved. It has to get resolved pretty soon. There's too many people getting hurt now. So it should be resolved fairly quickly. And then let's move on with a very productive 2019. If you're looking for me, you can reach me at Casey at caseysamson.com. And that is, the pricing or the condition or the marketing or anything you want to talk about, you can give me a buzz. But is it going to be a good year to sell? I think it's going to be a great year to sell. I mean, based on the first weekend, that's pretty solid stuff. Now, the reason why I like to launch houses in January and February and very early March is because there is no inventory out there right now. And if we come out and we're in great shape, then of those 20 people or 25 people come through the house, they need to buy something, and there's nothing else out there. So I like to give my sellers the ultimate advantage. So if we can launch a house in February, let's launch it in February. Once you get to March 15th and April 15th, now the inventory starts to go like this, and that just means competition. So the buyers are out, the buyers are ready. The interest rates have fallen in the last couple weeks. So I think they've taken a little bit of a dip. So this is called buying into the rally. So buy into the rally. If you are a buyer, for gosh sakes, contact one of my agents. I've got seven top producing agents that work with both sellers and buyers. I will tell you that if you're a new home buyer, you must work with a real estate agent. I don't care what they say. Quick example. I give you $5,000 if you use our lender and our company, right? But by using your own group, your own lender, your own title insurance, your own realtor, your own everything, there's so many tens of thousands of dollars of decisions that have to be made on appraisals, on all sorts of things. Please, please use a realtor and use one of the 7 that I have. Again, Casey at caseysamson.com, or my phone number is 703-508-2727. 888-888-2535. Just leave a message, because I'll tell you, I get so many robocalls. I don't know if it's something that's recently happening, but man, I get a lot of robocalls. So sometimes I answer and sometimes I don't. I just return phone calls. So leave me a message on my recorder. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Do we have anything else? Is that it? What time have we got? Who's the man? Huh? Who's the man, baby? That is awesome. Oh, just flipped. All right. So, again, my name is Casey Samson. I am head of the Casey Samson Team. Wall Street Journal named us one of the top teams in the state of Virginia. So, if you have any real estate issues, please give us a call. You can see us at the Dulles Expo Center. We're in booth 822. And I'll be giving seminars on Friday at 2 o'clock, Sunday at 2 o'clock. I'll be there, it sounds like, from 1 o'clock till 6 Friday and Saturday, 10 o'clock till 4 on Sunday. If you have anything else, give me a call. Michelle, you and Julie, once again, doing a great job launching these houses like a beast. We had 4 launches last week, went off without a hitch. Leslie, thank you very much for putting all this show on in a professional manner. I'm hoping to steal Leslie to tape that seminar that we're going to do at the Dulles Expo. So that will be available to everybody, but I don't know if we can pull that off. So you might want to show up. It will transform the way you look at your home. So Julie Hart, my beautiful assistant that does a great job, Michelle, and all the top producers, Pat Samson, Billy Samson. There's a lot of Samsons in this group, in this whole damn company. Kelly Samson, Morgan Samson, Colby Smith, Pam Mooney, no relation, and Shayna, who we just found out Shayna's going to have a baby. I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to announce that, but here's the deal in my family. Never tell me anything, because I am a blabbermouth. And that's why, heck, Kelly was married for 2 years before I even knew she was dating anybody. So that's why you never tell me anything. But sorry, Shane, if that was supposed to be our secret, I apologize. Next time, don't tell me anything. All right, thank you all for spending the morning with me. Coffee with Casey. I'm Casey Samson, and we will see you next month, or we'll see you at the Dulles Expo. Don't forget, Michelle at CaseySamson.com. Send her a request for tickets. I'll leave them at the front desk for you so you can get in there for free. All right.
If they want them for free, just mention Casey Samson at the front desk.
Yes. Yes. When you come in, your name will be on the envelope for 2 tickets, and all you got to do is give them your name, and they'll give you the tickets. We are open on Saturday, so don't worry about it. Okay? And I would pick them up Friday or Saturday, so, you can, we don't close up on Sunday and forget about it. All right. Thanks for joining us. Signing off.